Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we will discuss about early influences and influencers of feminist anthropology, prioritizing ethnography. So, Alan Lewin in 2006 mentions that the work of some brave and pioneering women, though many of whom remained unknown and unrecognized. Prominent among them was Elsie Clews Parson, a political, radical, and outspoken feminist who made use of her personal wealth to offer financial support to younger scholars in an era before public funding for field research had been institutionalized. Ruth Benedict was one of the beneficiaries of Parsons' generosity. Parsons completed her doctorate in sociology from Columbia University in 1899, but moved to anthropology under the influence of scholars like Kroeber, Louis, Sapir, Boas, and others. When she was in her 40s, she traveled with male colleagues to the American Southwest, thus breaking social barriers against men and women working together. Her best known work is Pueblo Indian Religion, published in 1939, which is a descriptive and comparative work whose constant theme is culture change. Zora Neale Thurston was another early pioneer as mentioned by Levin. She was an African American woman who studied at Columbia University under French Boas. She experimented with several narratives forms and moved freely between academic and creative writing. And Daisy Bates, a little known field worker who for several decades lived near the Australian Aborigines, is said to have provided A.R. Radcliffe Brown with much of the data that he later claimed as his own. Within British social anthropology, Phyllis Cabri, a student of Malinowski, was recognized as pioneer of ethnographic research on women in specific social and political context. In 1939, she wrote Aboriginal Woman, Sacred and Profane, which examined the rich but separate ritual experiences of Aboriginal women. Women on the Grassfields, 1952, is a significant study on women's work and economic life in the British Cameroons. This work is precursor to the vast body of interdisciplinary literature on women and development that followed from the 1970s onwards, which examined the nature of women's work across cultures and the impact of male centric developmental plans and policies on their lives. Another leading figure in British social anthropology was Andrea Rickards. Her work, spanning over 50 years, covered areas like kinship, nutrition, fertility, labor, and migration. This lecture highlights the significant contributions of women ethnographers in bringing women's issues to scrutiny. However, bearing some notable expectations, the discipline of sociology and anthropology were dominated by men. Ruth Benedict and Margaret Mead were two such figures who attracted widespread interest from academic and lay readers alike. Some of their works were indeed bestsellers. Their work drew upon comparisons between the United States and the non Western world. They made their American readers aware of the vast differences that exist across cultures in appropriate male and female behavior, child rearing practices, and attitudes towards sexuality. Benedict's fieldwork with Native Americans and other groups led her to develop the configurational approach to culture, wherein culture is viewed as personality writ large, facilitating and constraining different personality types in different societies. Mead also examined the influence of culture on human social development. Temperament in Three Primitive Societies in 1935 demonstrates how culture is the primary factor in determining masculine and feminine characteristics and behavior. The work of Benedict and Mead focused upon so called soft areas like child rearing practices and gender socialization to tend to be highly impressionistic in nature. This did not go down well with British school anthropologists who were immersed in the study of hard areas like kinship and political organization. However, the visibility, popularity, and high academic stature attained by Benedict and Mead made it possible for women anthropologists to make their presence felt in the years to come. An interesting source of influential writing identified by Levin in 2006 is the work of Unsung Heroines, the wives of anthropologists. Some of these women facilitated the work of their husbands, others created their own genre.